Why did Brent Spiner have Loree McBride? There's an old saying, if it doesn't make sense, there's a buck in it. For years, Brent Spiner's fans have wondered why he doesn't marry Loree McBride and why he doesn't give her more respect as his girlfriend. Because this is a public video, I'm going to be very careful to stick to facts only. For some of my speculations about why he couldn't get rid of Loree McBride for 20 years, refer to my website, GabrielleChana.com. Brent's relationship with Loree started in the early 1990s, and she gained entrance into his life as a girlfriend through some sort of rape. Brent woke up one morning and she was there in the same bed with him. How she got in his bed when he was dreaming about me at the time, around 1992, was through some sort of rape, probably involving intoxication or drugs. The rape devastated him because he was in love with me. Loree apparently made a big stink about the fact that she ended up in bed with Brent Spiner and went to Paramount Studios, where Brent worked at the time as an actor, as Data for Star Trek The Next Generation. When Brent was raped, Brent and I were communicating with each other. I was married but in love with Brent because he'd called me on the phone and made love to me starting in spring 1991. I turned him down for sex in 1991 because I had strong Christian convictions about adultery, but opted instead for a passionate long-distance friendship with him, tinged with a strong romance through my letters to him. Brent loved to hear from me and gave me lots of attention on the phone. In January 1994, he obtained a wiretap on my phone that he used to listen to me. I dial my own number, get a blank on the phone, and talk to him this way. This lasted from 1994 to about 2000. He listened to me for hours every day while he played the Loree McBride girlfriend game to maintain his income from Paramount. Loree used her rape to gain a gradual entrance into Brent's life as his publicity girlfriend. You have to understand what it's like to be an actor to understand why Brent allowed Loree to have such public prominence as his girlfriend. An acting job is not like your typical job, especially if you're not that famous. Your income is unpredictable, and you never know from one year to the next if you can pay your bills. You may say, but he was the world-famous Data from Star Trek The Next Generation. Yes, and that's just the problem. That's the only acting job Brent has had that has brought him a respectable income. When Loree extorted herself onto Brent, he was in danger of losing that. She threatened to give Brent tabloid exposure as his sexual partner because she raped him if he wouldn't agree to give her public girlfriend status. Even worse, she went to Paramount, where Brent worked as an actor as Data of Star Trek The Next Generation, and told the studio her intentions to blast to the tabloids her sex, quote unquote, with Brent. The studio had a Star Trek image to maintain, and to make sure their sales and ratings remained strong, they didn't like Brent associated with me, especially with Loree threatening to go public about her sex with Brent. Because I was married and perceived as a Bible thumper, while married to a Bible thumper controlling husband, Paramount told Brent that if his relationship with me got leaked to the tabloids, it would be disastrous for his public image and could result in a loss of revenue for the studio. He would lose public support for his role as the very popular Data in Star Trek The Next Generation, with a possible drop in ratings for Star Trek The Next Generation. So I got a letter from the studio, January 1994, that Brent did not write or agree to, that claimed Brent never contacted me and that he had no desire for any type of relationship or communications with me. Paramount laid down the law with Brent. Either you play Loree McBride's game or you lose your job. We'll write you out of the show. We're making too much money and we're not going to blow it by your love life. We're going to write a new contract for you where you will agree to make Loree your girlfriend so that our Star Trek image won't be tarnished by your love for Gail Chord, or you cannot earn any money associated with Star Trek, and that includes money you make from your convention appearances to fans. So Brent kept hoping that because of his fame as Data from Star Trek, he could break off on his own and earn enough to throw off Loree's shackles over his love life. But all Brent's attempts to break off on his own never paid off. The 2 music albums that he made, Old Yellow Eyes Is Back and Dreamland, he's barely broken even with both of these. The only income he gets, he seems to get from Star Trek. And he couldn't claim any Star Trek income over the years unless he agreed to have Loree McBride as a publicity girlfriend. At the time Brent agreed to Paramount's dirty deal that sabotaged his love life, he had no idea that after Star Trek was over, his career as an actor would practically vanish. This made it that he had to make Star Trek convention appearances to pay his bills, which meant, because of his deal with Paramount, that he had to keep Loree as a publicity girlfriend. Loree took full advantage of Brent's poverty and dependence on Star Trek and Paramount Studios to blast the internet with photos of herself, about 5% of them fake or counterfeit, as Brent's lover, even impregnating herself through artificial insemination to use her baby as a weapon to trap Brent into a marriage with her. But though Brent was willing to play the girlfriend game with Loree, he was not willing to marry her, and he never had sex with her from day one. In fact, the whole time that he paraded in public with her, he was obsessed with me and listened to me as I spoke to him on my wiretap phone. From 1991 to January 1994, I wrote him practically every day, and he read all my letters to him. From January 1994 to about 2000, he wiretapped my phone and listened to me for hours every day. So as I said before, if it doesn't make sense, there's a buck in it. Brent has never loved Loree McBride. He's only had her as a publicity girlfriend to maintain his income from Paramount Studios. He adopted a baby at the same time that Loree went public over her pregnancy through artificial insemination in 2002 to spare himself massive tabloid exposure as the daddy to Loree's baby who wouldn't honor his daddy commitments. Jesuits use artificial insemination in pregnancies on all my men. They've used it on Vladimir Putin, on Matthew McConaughey, but Brent was their first victim. I've come to terms with Jesuit sabotage and obsession over my love life, and am content with my husband, Jesus Christ. I just defend my men publicly because it's the morally right thing to do.